It's a story of a man named
Birdie,
who was all alone. That this group must somehow form a family. That's the way we all became the Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch. That's the way we became the Brady Bunch.
well, hello there, dear friends, and thank you for that warm welcome. Always appreciated. Well, today we are going to be looking at a few videos, and today's title is Moonfaker, and Moonfaker 2.0 to be exact. And the reason why it's called Moonfaker 2.0 is because Jarrah White has given us permission to use a couple of clips in his video. And not only a couple of clips, but if I don't know about you there, friends, but can you see this? Oh boy, you see that there, eh? Oh, them what you call studio lights. Now, isn't that right, friends? And not only studio lights, it's a real good thing because you're going to see this here kind of thing there sitting right up on the surface of the moon. It's going to be coming up real soon. So, without further delay, let's get on with today's video. Roll the first clip, please.
The pro-NASA group had recently argued that the geocorona of Earth would have made it impossible to capture these images from orbit, as the hydrogen corona would have obscured the ultraviolet light. But for this argument to stand up, you would of course have to overlook the supposed UV photography taken aboard Gemini 10, an Earth orbit flight. We concluded that the Apollo 16 photos were probably snapped from orbit and the Earth superimposed into the image. But this raised another question from the pro-NASA side. So Mildred Pierce, a vocal proponent of these photos, had wrote in to ask, "I wonder if you might elaborate on the claim that the photos could have been faked by superimposing an image of the Earth over an image of the stars. Where did they get the image of the Earth? Why is the shadow of the Earth oriented exactly as it should? More importantly, why are the Arctic and tropical air glow bands, two different features at two different wavelengths, oriented exactly as they ought to be? I can hardly be expected to know for sure where they got the image from. I wasn't part of the conspiracy. My best guess would be that they came from a satellite."
Astronomers could have easily discerned that the star positions were not those that would have appeared in a photograph taken from the moon. So it's another case where they could not fake it, so they simply ignored it.
Of course, many have argued that the star positions seen from Earth are exactly the same on the moon, because in the vastness of the universe, the stars are just too far away for any change to be noticeable. According to the Apollo Lunar Surface Journal, Shepard supposedly recorded these photographs at 12:07 hours Greenwich Mean Time on the 6th of February 1971. Knowing that, we just punch those details into Celestia and voila! We've travelled back in time to the moment when Al Shepard took this photo. Now all we need do is travel to his landing site of Fra Mauro and look up to the sky to see the Earth. We are now in the same time and the same place when Shepard supposedly took these photos. Note the respective positions of the planets Earth and Venus. At first, they seem to be in the right place. But when we compare them to the official Apollo 14 photographs, there's a problem. First, let's compare the two original images. We'll adjust them so that the Earth is lined up exactly the same. Watch now as we switch the images. The change in Venus's position is most obvious. Now, let's compare the first image with our still from the Celestia program. Although the phase and position of the Earth are the same, Venus is clearly not in the right place, and is off by thousands of kilometers northeast. Next, we have the second image. At face value, Venus appears to be in the right place, but upon closer inspection, we find that they still do not match up. Although closer this time, Venus is still slightly off-center, and thus these two versions overlap each other. Again, if we look at Celestia's timer, we can see we are situated in the same time when Shepard supposedly took these photos. So why are the views of Earth and Venus clearly not matching up? For the sake of thoroughness, I also captured this image of the lunar sky taken at 12:38 Greenwich Mean Time, more than half an hour after Shepard took these photos. As you can see, over a 30-minute time span, the planet Venus makes a drastic shift from right to left. This is the exact opposite of what is happening in the Apollo 14 photos. In the second frame, Venus has shifted greatly from left to right. Not only is Venus orbiting in the wrong direction, it's also moving so fast that it has shaved hundreds of thousands of kilometers in a few moments. To get a planet to behave like this in two photos taken moments apart would be a complete impossibility. Clearly, the positions of Venus in these two Apollo 14 photos are false, and sadly, they are still cited as verification for the authenticity of the moon landings.
Thank you, Jera, for that fine discourse. Now, what I'd like to point out here, friends, is that if you notice right up at the top, way up there, you'll notice that there are studio lights up there in that dude's visor, right? And he is supposed to be on the moon. But I'll show you something else here, friends. Take a look at this. Now, doesn't that look the same as this does up there, huh? Ooh, wow. Now, you want to tell me just how you could get all these studio lights when they're supposed to be up on the surface of the moon? Oh, see, that's a good one now, isn't it there, eh? And it's hard not to laugh at this crap, especially when you can see that these are, in fact, studio lights up there. Now, isn't that right, friends, eh? Well, I wonder what what the NASA Nine's got to say about that, and I don't think they're going to be able to get their ass out of this one now, are they? Oh, they certainly aren't. But if you think that's good, ooh, boy, you just wait till you see what I got for you coming up next, eh? Oh, was it a good one? So, let's just get on to this one, all right, friends? Roll the next part, please.
I'm going to take a couple more shots of this before we get all in. I get the pictures. All right?
That does not sound like the spacesuit acting like a drum at all. It sounds like a metal hammer striking a metal object repeatedly with authority. Pictured is Alan Bean during Apollo 12 striking a metal core tube into the so-called lunar surface with a metal hammer. This is an interview with Apollo astronauts Alan Bean and Pete Conrad done by the Apollo Lunar Surface Journal. They are once again taking the position that the sound is coming through the hand and transmitting into the microphones in the helmet. Alan Bean says, "I would have said it wasn't possible," and Pete Conrad responds, "The other guy can't hear it." If the sound is coming through Alan Bean's microphone, then like his voice, it must be transmitted directly into the headset of Pete Conrad, so his statement makes no sense. Alan Bean's statement makes a lot of sense, since it would not have been possible in a vacuum. When Bean says, "I would have said it wasn't possible," he has science on his side. This is a web page that has been disappeared from the internet by NASA as of August 2011. It was at nasa.gov, running concurrently with the Apollo Lunar Surface Journal between 2009 and September 2011. However, this page, which was created for children, you can see the banner at the top, Lunar Science for Kids. This page directly contradicts the assertions made in the Apollo Lunar Surface Journal concerning the hammering sounds in Apollo 12, 15, and 17.
It's odd to have a hammer or a metal tool and bang it against something and hear absolutely nothing. You can, sound won't travel in a vacuum, so there you are outside and you could be hitting something, no sound at all. No sound at all. No sound at all.
So, all you NASA knuckleheads, what you gotta say about that now, eh? Now, how you wanna tell me when he shows and goes and throws that little piece of junk there at the LEM over here like that there, you see? Now, how in the heck could that thing bounce off the side of the LEM and make sound when it's supposed to be on the moon? No, I don't think so, mate. It's not going to happen because the LEM did not have a microphone inside of it, and not only that, it was depressurized. So there goes that philosophy of yours right out the window, slack ass. And that goes for your little pet bunny, too. Oh, by the way, you guys, hey, we found a rabbit's hole in the ground, eh? You see what happened over here, right? Is that NASA went and they dug a hole where that little engine should be, right? Now you see where it is there, friends? See, they dug a hole with a shovel, and then they just shoveled it all back in again to make it look like this 10,000-pound thrust engine over here made this here little crater. But it was done with a shovel. And you know what happens to Slackass's little burrowing rodent now, don't you, friends, eh? Well, this is where he hides, right down that hole there when he's not on YouTube. That's where he does it. He burrows right down into the ground, and that's why you got all this dirt here left over in that little pile there, you see. Oh, my dear God, this just keeps getting better and better now, doesn't it, dear friends, eh? Oh, my dear God. Well, anyways, that's my spiel for today. You guys all take care out there and have a good weekend. And the dudes that are sending the viruses, well, you know where you can send them. You can shove them right where the sun don't shine. Okay, so that's my little spiel for today. Mr. Strange out.